G'day, guys. Welcome back to Supercoach Swordplay and welcome to the round 16 review. Thank goodness that the buys are over because it has not been a happy period for me. Red arrow after red arrow. And unfortunately, if you look at the season rank, it is now sitting at 4,513. Not happy, Jan, because the buys are generally a period of the year where I start to make up some ground and then kick off from then. But it's just been the complete opposite this year. And I did a little bit of research, looked at my history, thought to myself, how have I actually gone over the last few years during this buy period? So I look back to last year, started off at 1,737 into rank 911. Year before that, went up, almost 1,000 spots in the rankings. Year before that, started off at about 4,000 into the top 2,000. So it has been a stage where I have made up some ground. So very, very frustrating this year. And as I said, I usually tend to kick off pretty well after the buys, but this year it's going to be completely different as well because I've only got the 3 trades in the bank. So it's going to be a little bit of a struggle. And I was reflecting again before I started recording. I thought, how can I describe this year? And the way that I looked at it, as most of you know, I'm a primary school teacher by trade. And when I started teaching the grade sixes, we gave them these boring projects about, democracy and the House of Representatives and all this sort of stuff that the kids just weren't interested in. So I thought, why don't we change things up for our inquiry studies and get the kids to do a passion project, something that they can choose. They can choose any topic they want as long as it's appropriate, do all the research for it, have fun putting it together, and then we'll showcase it on a special night. We'll invite the parents in and the community and their family and friends. And it was a fantastic opportunity for these kids to do and research something that they love. And Supercoach is that for me. It's usually a passion project, but this year it's felt like more of an exam, if that makes sense to people that have done a little bit of study. And for me, it's almost been for a subject that I usually love, but I haven't really enjoyed this first semester. And it's like I'm doing this exam. I've started off, okayish. Then I've just gone completely downhill. I'm 2/3 of the way through it. There's a third to go, but now it's a multiple choice. And I do have time to actually sit back, be disciplined, really think about each question. But I sort of think to myself, well, bugger it, I'm going to give myself a bit of a mulligan for this subject because I've done pretty well with my other subjects. And I'm just going to go C all the way down and just be done with it. Just wipe my hands of this. And this is how Supercoach 2025 currently feels for me because I've now got, well, very, very, very loosely 23 premiums plus your McCarthy on the bench. So with 3 trades in the bank, I am pretty much done and dusted. There is not much more that I can do. I'll only use a trade if it's for a major injury for maybe a 3-week plus period. That's my plan at this stage. So there are a few question marks over your Sheasel, over your Whitfield. So we'll see what happens this week. But at this stage, I'm not really planning on making any trades. So it's a bit glass half empty at the moment, but I do have a big positive this week. So catching up with my heroes in the Supercoach community, the boys from Dr. Supercoach. So at a secret undisclosed location, I'll be catching up for a few cold ones with those legends. So really, really looking forward to that. And I did come top 10 in the Game Day Squad Contender Squad Series competition. So wrapped about that, won a couple of prizes there. So I'll be doing a separate video on that. And I've been saying it for weeks. It is never too late to jump onto Game Day Squad. Use the code word peanut and you'll get even more free stuff courtesy of our partnership with Cal Tommy and the boys there at GDS. So make sure that you do jump onto that. So there are some positives going into the week, not necessarily Supercoach Classic related, but the side is pretty much complete. So I suppose that's a good thing. So we'll take you through the side, talk about who I'd love to have, and then get in some captains. Alrighty, so trades from last week. It was a last minute move. At 7:28, I literally reversed my changes. Originally, I had the Horny Man, Jason Horn-Francis, in the side. But last minute, I thought, you know what? I'm going with my gut. I've been trying to get out of Chalky Neal for weeks now. And there's been someone that I've been super interested in. Ideally, it would have been Zach Butters, but The fallback option, it was out of, well, Horn Francis, as I mentioned, Sarong, Libba, or Georgie Hewitt. And I did go with Georgie Boy, and he was the second highest scorer in my side. So really, really happy with that. And instead of going your Horn Francis in the flex, I decided to go with Callum Mills. So very disappointing there. It's been one of those years where I've always been that week behind, unfortunately. Even with McCarthy, he scored really well. Missed that original 133. Missed the big 120 plus from Mills last week. But that's Supercoach 2025. It is what it is. But overall, pretty happy with those trades. Just hope that Chocky doesn't burn me too much. It's been a really, really tough own, a tough watch. So I'm pretty glad just to wipe my hands of Chocky. But was that a bit of a luxury trade with only having now 3 in the bank? Potentially, but he was the second highest score, Georgie. Neil had the bye, and I needed every big score I could get this week just to stay in the race and not go down too many spots. So as a whole, Wangadine Miller, fantastic pick, has not let me down since I brought him in. He's been potentially one of my best trading options of the year so far. Dale with a 99, almost to the ton. That's all good. She's with a 60. Well, Clarko, what are you doing? You're destroying him as a pick. So I just want to probably loop him week upon week from now. Zorko had the bye. Hopefully he comes back. I'm hoping that Whitfield will be right to play. Will he be himself? I'm not too sure. So do have some concerns there. McKercher, the butcher. Oops, can't say that. With a 108. Well done, Colby. You know that I love you, my friends. One of my absolute favourites down there at Arden Street, and you did not let me down. Efficiency, still not fantastic. And this could have been a big, big score because I think he got 35, 6 something possessions. Absolutely killed it on the stat sheet. But if he does clean things up in all seriousness, he can deliver some really nice scores for us. So well done to you, Colbs. And this man, Tommy McCarthy, we should all have him by now. If you've left it this late, it's still all good because you can get him at 99k, but you've missed out on 2 really nice scores. I've got the 1 nice score. I think most of us have. The issue for me is, who do I play week upon week here? I'll probably put one of these blokes up to the flex for Mills and maybe loop him with McCarthy. And that's another reason why I did end up trading out Angus Clark, kept on to Gray, because I wanted to be able to loop McCarthy. With Clark there and assuming that he plays, I wouldn't have been able to loop there. So that was a little bit of the method behind the madness there, trading out a playing player. And another bloody rant, I finally get rid of Clay Hall for McCarthy. And you wouldn't believe it. Hall comes in, gets his best score, best stats, whatever it is. Just my luck as well. But I'm not complaining there. Brayshaw with an 84, extremely disappointing. We want the big ceiling scores from him. Nicky D was the vice captain. Decided to captain Baz in the end, take his VC score. So wrapped with a nice 131. Dawson would have been the backup if he had failed. Would have been a 112, which was better than Sherry, I suppose, who was the other guy I was thinking. Massive fail with Bond. So not at all derailed the season. But if I had have gone with my original plan, remember I was really sniffing around Matty Rao at that really cheap price before I spent up on Bond. Man. If only, go with your gut, but at the same time, that Marvel run was just too good to refuse, and I was recommending others to jump on Bont at the same time, so I do apologise for that. He's been super disappointing. The week before just looked like a different man. Georgie Boy, new trading. I was replying to a tweet, I forget who it was by, asking about Georgie Hewitt, and I just said, look, he's not a sexy pick. He doesn't do anything too flashy, but he's just the ultimate solid soldier that gives his all each week, and that's what he does for us. And a 120, brilliant from Georgia this week. I think he's going to be a really nice own for me. Sinclair, second disappointing score in a row with an 89, so non-owners are absolutely getting kissed, the same as non-Whitfield owners here as well, and I thought this would be a huge advantage to have them at a high price in my side. Chera, failure with a 66, but here's that M8 type player, and you do expect a couple of these from time to time, but I suppose we are lucky. It's in the best 18 week. Dunkley didn't play. He was good the week before, so hopefully he comes back. None of these guys are any good. They're just there for loops, basically. Gorn and Sherry, both pretty disappointing, particularly Gorn, but we knew this matchup was going to be tough for him, so we didn't expect a whole heap from him. And then Sherry with the 111, that's okay, but he's been giving us some nice 140s, 150s, second mediocre score in a row. Well, the week before, pretty shocking, but it is what it is. These are 2 guys that you want to own apart from Brody Grundy. That man is absolutely on a tear, and kudos to anyone that does have him. Supercoach HQ, well done to you, mate. I think you've got him in the flex at the moment. Or was it not Supercoach HQ? Oh, I forget. It's on the tip of my tongue, but someone's just bought him in at flex. Shout out to you, HQ, anyway, mate. But yeah, congrats to anyone that's jumped on him. I had the silver Grundy in game day squad, which really helped me to get a top 10 finish this week. So kudos to Grundy owners. Baz didn't play. Darcy, a game of two halves. It's the same as Dale as well. The bloke was on 67 at half time, and I've mentioned this many times before. There'll be quarters and halves where he's completely out of the game, quarters and halves where he looks $1 million. And this was the absolute definition of that. So that's one thing I was right on the money about, but still a very, very fun own in my opinion. Done it with a 96. He's one of the blokes I've held throughout the season. Happy I did that. Warner, identical score. With what he's been producing, I'll take a 95 plus. Same as Rankin, almost got to the ton, still hasn't got there. And again, just really tapered off in that second half, which was disappointing. Shea, 71. I missed a couple of shots. There was another time where he got run down. He could be getting tons. He could be getting close to tons, but he's just not doing it. Super frustrating. Mills, massive failure on debut, but the 50-meter penalty, that's another thing with Darcy. Surely that wasn't a 50-meter penalty. And back to Dawson with a rant, 3 quick bullets in a row. What on earth happened in the second quarter with that contested mark inside 50 that was not awarded as a contested mark? That is absolute rubbish. I cannot for the life of me understand why that wasn't a contested mark, but hey, it is what it is. It is what it is. So what are we going to do this week? I think it's pretty much as simple as what we see here. Now, I could loot McKercher here against the Dogs, but I just really love his role at the moment. Whitfield, you're not too sure about, but against West Coast, if he's playing, hey, I'm just going there. The issue here is, does he get subbed out if GWS are giving him a bit of a hiding? Potentially, but who knows? I think West Coast has been playing really well lately. They may actually give something here, so potentially not, but that's a slight concern. You've got Callum Mills there. Yeah, not sure about that. So what do you do there? Maybe you loop. Do you loop Whitfield or do you loop McCarthy? I'll loop one of the two, and depending on what they score, yeah, we may see a bit of Mills action or something. I'm really not too sure what will happen here. If McCarthy does score well, then I think I'll just bring one of these blokes into the flex, and then Mills will go down off field. I think that's probably bring Ray on. Yeah, that'll probably be the move there, I think. But apart from that, the team is as it is. So it's really up to captain and vice captain options, isn't it? You always look to the two big boys. So you've got Sherry against English, and didn't Grundy give him an absolute hiding? So potentially there. You've got Gorn versus Rob. So yeah, not fantastic. West Coast against GWS. So Whitfield's the only one, and that's a little bit dicey, but maybe as a VC, you've got Nicky D versus the Blues, Georgie Boy. I really do want a ceiling. The Saints against the Hawks, Wang. The Bont against the Roos. Darcy, do I just go? To go an absolute pod in Darcy? The sensible move has to be Sherry here, doesn't it, against English? But at the same time, look at my rank. I think I probably need to do something a little bit different. And Baz versus Richmond. He's already got the captaincy on him from last week. So I think that's probably where I'm going to go. Or is it Sherry versus... Do I go Sherry into Baz? But surely Baz versus Richmond is something that you've got to look at GMHBA. I can't really see a better matchup than that. The Lions against Port. No, I think that's where I'm going to go. So VC Sam Darcy at the moment, because I think that Baz could go off chops, and I'm looking for a really big ceiling VC score. And I think that Darcy may be the man against North Melbourne, and that's under the roof as well. So regardless of what the weather's like, it's going to be nice and dry. And I think their tall defenders are struggling at the moment. So that is it for now, guys. All the best of luck this week. Stay tuned for the Swordplay podcast. We'll be recording that on the Tuesday night. Plenty of game day squad material going on. Make sure that you do sign up. I keep on saying it, but it's an extremely fun comp and never too late to sign up for that. Check out Scobes, Joshy, and Verns, the live crew, for all their content during the week. And I'll also be joining my man, the legend himself, Damon from Supercoach Edge, over on his channel on Tuesday night for one of his videos and recordings this week as well. And shout out to that great man. He's entered fatherhood, and yeah, he's such a lovely and a wonderful human, and could not be happier for the great man as well. So on that note, guys, take care, much love, all the best, and I'll see you soon in the next one. Cheers, bye.